So viewers, we're now in the abandoned part of the colliery and we're working our way towards the headstock and the buildings associated with that. So this looks like, almost like an old boiler building.
It is, yeah.
8 coal-fired boilers. Wow. And they're big enough for Ben to fit in.
Oh, yes.
We've got the centrifugal fans up there, and then each boiler had its own ducted air inlet. You could control the airflow there, and then this was the firebox. So the coal would have gone in there, that would have been the fire, and the air would have blown in from underneath, keeping the coal nice and aerated, because you need a lot of air for coal, and sent it off. You can see the massive spring there for the relief valve. We looked at some boilers at a hospital earlier today, so I'll link that video on the home screen, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Here we have, looks like a survey in 2015 boiler house, to find some even more decayed boilers here. See if we can find an intact linear gauge. Here's some, fully intact. We'll see what's at the end here and see the coal that's, the dust that's come through. I'm presuming they hand shoveled it in because there's no augers, so they've hand shoveled the coal in. But they were made of tougher stuff back then. And we've got all the different electronics, flow levels, things like that. Got lots of feed water in these. It's really hot use today, so we've got to be careful that we don't dehydrate. But this boiler room would have been much hotter when all the flame and all the fireboxes were on. Don't know how many boilers they used at any one time, but they would have used a lot of steam, so they would have needed a lot of steam pressure.
You've got like fans to blow air into the boilers up on that balcony. The chain gates are in the far corner.
Oh wow, so they've got an even bigger hot well here. The large centrifugal fans over to the left. They're like ID fans or indirect fans blowing air into the boilers. There's a big relief valve. So what would happen is there's a piston in there. As the steam pressure got too big, it pushed that central rod up, lifting that counterweight, and it blows steam off up this pipe straight out the roof. Very loud. Big steam valve there. That would have been very hot. I'm going towards the rear of these coal-fired boilers. It's the condensate return there, the hot well. It's like a heat exchanger. So the steam coming out sort of preheats the hot well going back in. It would have been so hot in here. Walk along this gantry. At the top of the boilers. Gate valves here. So they're like a big drawbridge inside that can open and close the steam. And it's been that hot that they've actually modified this one with a wooden handle, because that would have been too hot. By hand it would have been 100 degrees centigrade, if not a bit more. We were in that building earlier that's got one of the beam engines in, little beam engine. Work our way this way. So this we saw at the sanatorium, the children's hospital. Worm wheel driven chain and I think it was something to do with a condensate return, but if you know otherwise, please let me know. And we've got what looks like hot water calorifiers there for hot water systems. So they had a hot water supply probably for the bathhouse and washing facilities within the mining areas. Got some tube stacks there. So those tubes went in the boilers. They've been removed for maintenance purposes and just simply stacked up there. And this one says E Green and Sun Limited, reference number 0V2306/60. That was made in Wakefield, England. This is in fact a boiler economiser, which is a heat exchanger that preheats boiler feed water using heat from the boiler's exhaust gases. These were invented by Edward Green in 1845. And he's doing a little pirouette with a fizzy drink. And these are big water pumps again. Bigger versions of what we saw at the sanatorium, made by Weir. Again, Weir pumps. And I'm pretty sure these operated off of vacuum or steam pressure. So it's either a pressure motive force or a vacuum motive force. Warships, I'm pretty sure they worked on a vacuum system. So they pumped water from a well back into the feed tanks, and they worked on the condensate side, and these forced water into the boilers. So the boilers were always like primed with, because if you imagine in the boiler, it could just try and push the steam could expand and push the water back out the boiler tubes. You don't want that. You have to force the water in. And these have big non-return valves on them. That massive piston there used to push into here, and it used to force the water back into the boilers, priming that feed loop system. These would have both been going up. Ben's my guide today. Check him out on King of Winter on Instagram. So is this part of the wash house?
Yeah.
Wow. So we've got a big guard there for a belt driven machine, which could have been one of these. This looks like a very big water pump. So I'll run through everything here, viewers. That is an electric motor in the centre. That is an air compressor. It sucked from the centre there, went into the drum compressor, came out, went up that pipe and into that low pressure air cylinder in the centre of the screen. And then that LP air, low pressure air, went off that way into the wash house system. So they use compressed air and water. There's a really cool multi-fuel stove there that I'm presuming they just used for heating. It doesn't look like it's got any other purpose other than to keep this room warm. There would have been an abundance of coal, I guess. All the electric cables coming down there. I'm going to take a look upstairs now to see what I can see up there. I'll tell you what, there's a big washer. Very big washer indeed. Shame the handset's not on there. That's an Ericsson auto telephone. So that's the drum wash. Big cable there. What's through here then? A bit more machinery. It's quite a modern plastic bottle there, which is intriguing. And this was the big sparger. big washer for the wastewater. So that would have been full of water, and that was what cleansed the coal debris. So that was the big gear wheel that drove the sparger. Used to call them a Wazo pump. So that is a LP air driven pump. It's like a twin circuit diaphragm pump. Yeah, and that was basically a water pump, big water pump. It had an electric motor on it, and they were like the non-return valve parts of it. And it was a big water pump, and that, I guess, pumps the water that went round this. This water would have flowed through that as it cleaned product. Some of Ben's photos there. Check out his Instagram. So where we're going now, Ben?
Into the undercroft.
The Undercroft. Some big national coal board padlocks there. They would have been back from when this was operational. So now we're going into the Undercroft, which is the machinery areas underneath the big pit head.
Got wagons over there. You got shaft here.
Oh, that went down into the pit. Wow. So that would have gone a long way down once upon a time, but they've just backfilled it with shit because they don't want it anymore. And that goes up to the headstock. All the holes in the steel above. That's just rotted through. Yuck. So this is part of the wash system. So this is a big winding drum for something.
The emergency winder.
Emergency winder.
Yeah, I missed it last time. Didn't know what it was.
Okay. So in an emergency this could operate...
I suppose pull up cages, pull up the miners.
Ah, right, so pull the miners out. So this was the emergency winder. And I guess the cables went up through there.
Apparently it's quite unique because it's steam operated.
It has been operated.
It's steam operated.
Steam operated?
Not electric.
Ah, right.
There's your steam lines.
Yeah, straight off the boiler system. Wow. Century Oils. There's an Airbex chair there, Ben.
Yeah, there is. Get insects, get off.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, aren't they, here?
Yeah. Oh, green flies.
Yeah. Let's get round to them oil drums. Oh wow, there's a big piston here. Big piston operated this rod. That turned that. So yeah, it was a big steam engine. Wow. And then that would have turned that worm again, which turned that. And that would have located onto this big shaft here through the centre onto that. There's a big dog clutch, and then it would have turned this so they could engage and disengage the dog clutch with this big device. It's all seized up. Yeah, see that piston's there, that piston's out. Wow. Emergency winding gear. Steam driven. Got some old style oil drums there. £451 gallons, 205 litres. Health group number 8A. Century Oils. That old run's full. Absolutely rammed full. That's still got oil in it. I think that's like paraffin or something. Yeah, paraffin. What do you use that for? Yeah, big, yeah. In fact, it's got 4 pistons. There's a little piston there and a big piston there. So I guess it was like a low and a high speed. Let me know in the comments, viewers. So there's 2 pistons there, a big one and a little one. Just like on a steam train. I bet they are actually steam train like pistons. And 2 pistons there. To drive this very unique emergency winding gear. So what's up here then, Ben?
What's that?
What's up here? What's all this equipment?
It's like hopper feeds, that sort of thing. Coming down from the top. I won't go that way though because the wood is a bit rotten.
Okay.
Up top metal steps. It all feeds down from the top level.
Okay. So what did this big building do?
The coal was raised to the very top level and then it worked down through the screens down to the rail wagons over there.
For transportation out?
Yeah, and over to the washer bar a conveyor as well, I think. Damn that light.
Yeah, it's bright, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very dark in here. So that was the emergency winding gear room. So that is an old, I don't know what that is, electrics for something. Don't know if that's just been sort of placed there. I think the big stop starts, and they wouldn't have usually been there, they would have been near the equipment. Electrical equipment. Coal conveyors and slipways and equipment for it all. And in here, this was a railway line. And then these pillars have been added afterwards. I'm right in thinking this was once a railway line. And then that's been added after when they've modified this area. They're coal drops, aren't they? And that's been modified from a railway to road. So you could reverse a lorry in there and drop coal into it. And that one's been modified too. So they've changed it over the years. So you could back a coal lorry into this area, open those chutes and drop coal into the lorry. Quite a modification. So that sort of shows the different ages of this construction. And these ones were made to be hydraulic. So they just open valves there. We had to do it right next to the wagon though, where it was falling.
Something is all this here. No idea what it is. It's very dark.
It's all like conveyor equipment, isn't it? It's as if the coal product was on a conveyor belt and it went one way or the other. The belting's been removed. Well, this was all about the distribution and sorting of the coal for washing, and this was like goods outwards.
Yeah, pretty
This
much,
was
yeah.
goods sorting and goods outwards. Some of the old coal carts here. There's one just left there, so that would have gone down in the pit. It would have been loaded up with coal and brought back up on the Lady Victoria winding gear in the big lifts. And there's some of the conveyor belting. Pardon me?
To get the cage. Don't want the cage.
So this is one of the 2-level lift cars that would have gone in the Lady Victoria winding gear, would have been drawn up and down by the winding gear, and this is where the coal carts would have gone. So you would have got 2 coal carts there and 2 coal carts on that level, very similar to Chatterley Whitfield, where there'd be 4 loaded or unloaded coal carts, and those are the stops to prevent the coal cart rolling on or off. They were controlled by this gear here, look. It's controlled theirs. There, look. And this is the lift car.
A little bit, and some random tub thing, the machine there, then we just go upstairs.
Oh, now I've got a very tired looking railway cart, and above it is a coal delivery system for railway cars. They were hydraulic again. There's another one there, a big hydraulic ram on it to open it, and then there would have been a car underneath it, similar to one of these. And the coal would have been simply dropped inside. You can see there's still actually some material in there that looks like ballast. It's just been painted up for the museum. National Coal Board is painted on that one. Internal only. I think again that's just a museum piece. See, the sun's starting to go down now, viewers, so we're going to struggle for light. Yep, we're going to head upstairs now, viewers. Ben is going to lead the way. It's made in Edinburgh. Well, FLP motors.
Not sure about it.
Light over there. So I've got as far as this, and it's got a chicken wire gate, but it's pretty much the top of that conveyor. So we're going to go back down into the light from the darkness. We've got some like massive coal silos there. don't know how the product got into those. Oh yeah, they're down there. Squidgy old metal floors. There's a brazier there for a blacksmith's. So they have a blacksmith shop up here to repair things. So this is the very top. The glass is intact. Because the idiots don't get into this area. And that is Yorkshire steel. Oh, Lanarkshire. Lanarkshire. So it's Scottish steel. It's got the British steel emblem there. It's upside down, but you can imagine. I'll take you to the summit. These are actually parts of the roof, so I'm touching the roof structure now. That's the very, very top of this. And there's a view of the headstock. We probably won't do the headstock because we're just going to be seen. And then the police come and everyone gets upset, etc. So, we're quite high up. We're as high as the sorting house and wash house goes. And that is there, so that is the headstock, or a view of the headstock. And this is the top of this machine here, that was for sorting the larger parts of coal to the smaller parts of coal, distributing, cleaning and sorting of the coal. So I think that would have been a chute, and then that deck there with the holes in used to shake, and the little bits would fall through and the larger bits would just go along it that way and down that way. Gets a lot more colourful in this area, viewers.
Yeah, I'm not sure how any of this works, 'cause it's different to Chatley, I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Chatley went straight down through the facts and right what's below. This is not so complicated, but it looks it.
It does look complicated.
I can't figure out.
I mean, what's this for? It like tips them upside down.
Yeah, it's a shoot, yeah.
So it empties them. So it's emptying the carts that come along here. Or do they come... Yeah, I think they go that way, I think. And then it takes them in there, it tips them upside down, and the coal product goes down that chute. And then the cart goes off that way with gravity. And then, just one moment, viewers. Goes round there, and then it's drawn up here with that chain, and then that cart there would roll round and go down that chute there. This is a museum mock-up of the control panel, and this chap here is operating this. Looks like the old hut, and EEG and Cushion Rob, second of the 5th 80. A pretty cool shot right there. Got part of the lift. Yeah, we're near the headgear, which is just up there. And then we've got the carts in one of the lifts there. Some other carts there with the metal gates that used to come down. I'll get you a view down and up the lift, so that's going down, so the filled in pit head, and then up to the winding gear. And there was the micro switches that told the lift car, or the lift that the car was at this level. And this is this car at this level. Well, as you can see, the wires aren't connected anymore. And that is the winding engine. So there was big steam pistons. You can see the governor in the bottom centre right there. And then you can see one of the pistons just through the big flywheel. That would have been similar to the winding engine that was at Chatterley. Big steam driven winding engine, massive brakes on it. But we can't get in there today. Wonderful piece of architecture. An engineering marvel right there. So this is the access to the headgear, the actual head frame of Lady Victoria, and we're on our way up to it now. Might not fully get up there, but we might get a good view.
Good.
Are we going to do it?
Bit obvious to the road, and I'm going to lose the hatch.
Eh?
I won't be able to get the hatch back.
Or is it just going to swing right open?
Yeah. The handle's up there.
Hey?
The handle's picking down.
Don't know, it's a lot of risk, isn't it?
And that camera's facing this way in the car parks.
Just have a view. I'll just get a view of it.
Yeah. Would you take the camera or?
Yeah.
It's very narrow.
Don't drop the camera.
I can't even turn.
Just film the headstock. So we're leaving this area. I'm going to go down this stairs to the next area where they separated the coal, this process workshop area. See what these did. That spun round. I think they like shook. So it shook this big thing here. Shook that. Separated large parts from smaller parts. Got the sun there from Thursday, April the 7th, 2011. No, I'm afraid this place is beyond saving. I mean, someone's purposely removed all the belting so it can't be used again. They did that at that fluorospar mill, didn't they?
Yeah.
Intentionally made it so it couldn't be used anymore. And it's all rotten and that now anyway. Loads of the electrics have been removed and it'll never work again. So it's just it's sort of in remembrance of the workers now. and the decades of graft they put in to keep the lights on in Scotland. It's come to that point in the video where it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos on the homepage, and we will see you again soon. Bye bye for now. Say bye, Ben.
Bye bye.